Dive right in. These are the stories we're following at this hour. Global stocks plunged yet again over the coronavirus pandemic. Wall Street suffers its worst day since the 1987 stock market crash, with the Dow dumping over 10%. We also have more on how South Korea's markets are reacting. Concerns brews over the cancellation of another major international event as President Trump suggests postponing the Tokyo Olympics for a year due to the COVID-19 outbreak. Japanese officials continue to insist the games will proceed as planned. Plus, U.S. retaliatory airstrikes are underway in Iraq after an Iran-backed militia in the country attacked an airbase, killing 2 U.S. troops and 1 British soldier. Our top story this morning is South Korean stock markets, which opened just an hour ago, are getting hammered on this Friday over fears of the coronavirus pandemic. For more on this, we have our Yoon Jung-min on the line for us. So Jung-min, give us a picture of what it's like now. The markets crashed just minutes after the open. So has the trading resumed?
Sure, Simon. Trading was halted temporarily on both the benchmark KOSPI and the tech-heavy KOSDAQ as stocks plummeted as soon as the markets opened on Friday. The KOSPI was down 6% at the opening, and soon after that, it collapsed below the 1,700 mark. The KOSDAQ was down almost 5% when the market opened. Trading on the KOSDAQ was temporarily suspended for the first time since February 2016. As of 9:40 a.m., the KOSPI has tumbled more than 6% to around 1,713. The KOSDAQ has plummeted over 8% to 517. This comes as global markets were rattled by the COVID-19 pandemic overnight.
Surely a worrisome development there. The global markets again also took a big hit on Thursday over coronavirus pandemic fears, and President Trump's abrupt move to restrict travel to most European countries. So the Wall Street saw another historic drop in major European markets, also shedding a lot. Tell us more.
Sure, the Dow Jones Industrial Average plummeted almost 10% on Thursday. It was down over 2,300 points to finish at around 21,200. It's actually the biggest one-day percentage drop since 1987 on Wall Street. The S&P 500 and the Nasdaq both plunged more than 9%. Shortly after opening, trading was halted for 15 minutes as the S&P 500 fell below 7%. European markets also continued to spiral, posting their worst one-day drop in history. The UK's FTSE 100 fell over 10% to its lowest level in 8 years. The pan-Euro stock for 600 was down 11%. This comes as President Trump's decision to impose travel restrictions to the U.S. from Europe seems to have unsettled investors. That's all from me at this hour. Semin.
Our economic correspondent Yoon Jung-min with those market updates. Thank you. South Korea's prime minister says the government is reviewing its plans to declare the hardest hit Daegu and Gyeongsangbuk-do Province as a special disaster zone. Now, this coming during a meeting of the Central Disaster and Safety Countermeasures headquarters in Tegu on this Friday morning. He said once the preparations are ready, he will report the matter to the president for his official review. If declared a special disaster zone, the region will be eligible for speedy financial and administrative support with minimal red tape. The number of new virus cases in that region is starting to slow, but nationwide, a total of 7,869 confirmed patients have been reported, with the death toll standing at 67. The global impact of the coronavirus is becoming ever more apparent by the day. Diplomatic and sporting events, as well as other gatherings that bring together large groups of people, are being called off at what seems like an hourly basis now. And it was just announced that Disneyland in California will temporarily shut down for the 4th time in 65 years. Our Choi Jung-yoon with the details.
Now it has been labeled a pandemic by the World Health Organization. The impact of the virus is seen worldwide. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and his wife have self-isolated themselves after she was tested for the new coronavirus. Prime Minister Trudeau himself has not shown any symptoms, but will avoid all face-to-face contact and hold meetings via phone. Top U.S. officials may have also been exposed to the virus as well. A Brazilian official who met U.S. President Donald Trump last weekend tested positive for the coronavirus. However, the White House said there was almost no interaction with the contractor and testing the president is not required. President Trump also said he wasn't overly concerned. Responding to the outbreak, sports organizations in the U.S. have taken strong steps, barring fans from games or even suspending their seasons altogether. The MLB announced the start of its regular season would be delayed by at least 2 weeks, and all spring training games have been called off. The National Collegiate Athletic Association has canceled its men's and women's 2020 basketball tournaments, as well as all remaining winter and spring NCAA championships. 3 major American professional leagues, the NBA, NHL, and Major League Soccer have completely suspended their seasons. The world's most popular amusement park will also shut down. Disneyland and Disney's California Adventure will close on Saturday and stay shut until next month. The announcement comes a day after the California state government said gatherings of more than 250 people should be avoided to counter the spread of the coronavirus. Disneyland's measures mark the first time the theme park has closed since the September 11th attacks in 2001, and just the 4th time in its 65-year history. Choi Jung-yun, Arirang News.
And as sports around the world are hit by the coronavirus, there are questions over the fate of the Tokyo Olympics. U.S. President Donald Trump, among many others, suggested a 1-year delay for Tokyo 2020, while Japanese officials are standing firm that the Games can still go ahead as scheduled. Our Kim Hyo-sun with more.
President Trump has suggested delaying the Tokyo 2020 Olympics for a year as the coronavirus outbreak continues to spread around the globe. Speaking at the White House on Thursday, he explained that a delay would be better than having no spectators.
You know, I like that better than I like having empty stadiums all over the place. I think if you cancel it, make it a year later, that's a better alternative than doing it with no crowd.
That said, President Trump added he would not make such a recommendation to Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, saying Abe will ultimately make his own decision. The president of the Tokyo 2020 Organizing Committee stressed a day earlier that postponing the event is not an option.
We are not thinking about changing directions, no changing plans at all. Everyone is moving in that direction. The flame ceremony is about to start in Greece. And there is also overall supervision by the IOC. This is a time when everyone is making effort towards that direction. There is no room for thoughts that are negative, pessimistic, or of secondary issues.
He said delaying the Games is impossible as there is a Beijing Winter Olympics in 2 years and the Paris Olympics in 4 years. His remarks come around a week after Japan's Olympic minister Seigo Hashimoto raised the possibility of delaying the Tokyo Games. Hashimoto explained the IOC only has the right to cancel the Games if they are not held during 2020, which she said could mean the Olympics could be postponed as long as they are still held during the calendar year. Kim Hyo-sun, Arirang News.
U.S. Forces Korea says a 60-day travel ban to and from South Korea for service members, military families, and civilian employees has been introduced in light of the COVID-19 outbreak. Now, the measures put in place by the U.S. Department of Defense includes all forms of travel, such as permanent change of station, temporary duty, as well as government-funded leave. The Pentagon said its guidance follows the new travel advisory by the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, which designated South Korea, Italy, and Iran as Level 3 locations, meaning non-essential travel should be avoided as a widespread community transmission of the disease is occurring. South Korea, like many other countries around the world, is going through an extremely trying time due to the coronavirus outbreak. But tough times often bring out the best in people, and citizens here in South Korea are coming together as communities to financially support low-income neighborhoods. Our Kim Bo-kyung with this report.
A distribution center in Paju City, Gyeonggi-do Province. This is where workers and volunteers from Hope Bridge, Korea Disaster Relief Association, are making supply kits. Around 1,000 hygiene supply kits are being made here. The kits contain masks, hand sanitizers, and other items to help prevent those from the city's poorest neighborhoods from catching COVID-19. Around 180 million items, making up around 840,000 kits, have already been given out to those in need thanks to citizens' support.
As of Tuesday afternoon, around 140,000 people and organizations donated money, bringing the total to around $65 million. If the amount in donations that other associations collected is added, this would be more than $84 million.
It took more than 3 hours to put all the items in separate kits. After that, several people joined forces to load them onto the truck. The kits that were made in the morning were delivered to around 1,000 people in poor neighborhoods in Seoul and Incheon. As people in these areas cannot shower regularly or afford to buy personal hygiene items, they say these kinds of supply kits are very important to them. But these people are especially thankful for the masks.
These days, masks are hard to buy. And for people like me, we can't even understand what a 5-day rotation mask distribution system is. So there were times when we couldn't even buy masks after waiting for several hours at drugstores. So we are very thankful.
Even if it seems like a small amount of money, citizens' donations are making a big impact on those in need, giving hope that if joined together, South Korea can overcome the virus. Kim Bo-kyung, Arirang News.
And now to the latest coming through the wires from North Korea. The regime's state-run media, Korean Central News Agency, reports this morning that North Korean leader Kim Jong-un instructed an artillery fire competition of one of its military units on Thursday in what the agency said was a move aimed at building pride in the North's artillery force. No details were, however, released on where the exercises were conducted. Kim also oversaw a live fire artillery exercises on the 2nd and 9th of this month, each in the North's eastern towns of Wonsan and Sondok. The U.S. military has conducted airstrikes on militia weapon storage facilities in southern Iraq. U.S. officials say it's a retaliation for an Iranian-backed rebel group's missile attack on Wednesday that killed 2 American troops and 1 British soldier at a U.S. base in the country. CNN reports that U.S. warplanes targeted 5 facilities believed to have stored the type of rockets used in Wednesday's attacks. According to the Pentagon, the strike was aimed at stifling the activities of the Iranian-backed rebel group. In December of last year, the same group was accused of a rocket-style strike that killed an American civilian, setting off a series of events that led the U.S. to the brink of a war with Iran.
Good morning. We had a cloudy and mild start to the day, but it will become breezier but sunnier this afternoon. And highs will be nearly 5 degrees lower than yesterday as for here in the capital. And sub-freezing lows are in store for Saturday morning. In fact, most regions will see highs 2 to 5 degrees cooler than yesterday, hovering slightly below the season norms, but we'll have our sunshine back with decent air quality. So let's address accordingly. And it's shaping up to be a chilly weekend. Tomorrow morning, so we'll see lows at -2 degrees Celsius. Then on Sunday, many inland regions will receive either snow or rainfall. Looking ahead, it will get milder as the week goes on, and it should feel more like spring. And other than Tuesday, we'll have bright skies throughout next week. That's Korea for you, and here's the international weather for viewers around the world.
that is it for us at this hour on Arirang News, but we'll be back with more updates on our news lineup coming up at noon Korea time. Thanks for watching and goodbye.
The number of